You know, Floyd Mayweather has said that...
What are your thoughts on Pacquiao fighting Spence?
I just told the guys down there I wish both of the guys nothing but the best. But Errol Spence, I want to see him win. I'm pushing for Errol Spence to win. Absolutely, that's my people. I'm going to always stand behind my people first. Just like the Philippines, they're going to stand behind Pacquiao. I'm in America, I'm going to stand behind my people first. And actually, I'm going to call him and give him some pointers.
What would you tell him?
I ain't going to tell you. I'm not going to reveal it to you. Then I'll be telling my strategy.
Has he reached out to you yet?
Nah, he hasn't reached out to me yet.
Has he ever reached out to you or have you spoken to him at all in terms of preparation for a fight?
Definitely. You know, he's a guy that, you know, reaches out sometimes and, you know, talks to me and things like that. So, you know, he try to mentor me sometimes. So he definitely reach out. If he says he's going to reach out, he probably will.
He probably will. What pointers could he give him?
I think for me, sorry to interrupt.
Nope. This is your press conference, Manny.
I'm sorry to interrupt that. You know, actually, Errols don't need to have a advice from Mayweather, because I believe that Errols is better than Mayweather, and he's a fighter than Mayweather. So I think he will teach Mayweather and how to fight toe-to-toe.
What do you think of that, Errol? That's quite a compliment from an opponent.
Yeah, that is a great compliment. But like I said before, Manny Pacquiao the kind of guy who, you know, he'll woe you to sleep. You know, he'll give you a lot of compliments and, you know, gratitude and things like that. And then as soon as the bell ring, he'll be jumping all over you. So, I take it.
Well, Manny Pacquiao wasted little to no time to take jabs at Floyd Mayweather, responding to the news of Floyd Mayweather giving Errol Spence pointers by stating that Errol Spence is a better fighter than TBE, the best ever Floyd Mayweather. Pacquiao continued to take shots at Floyd by stating that Errol Spence could teach Floyd Mayweather how to fight toe-to-toe. In the mix of it all, I think Errol Spence handled himself well by pointing out the obvious, that Manny Pacquiao will lower your guard down with compliments. Then fight night, he will try to take your head off. Now, first things first, I am a little sick, so if I sound a little off, it's due to that. With that being said, one thing that has to be said, I do want to commend Manny Pacquiao for fighting Errol Spence at this stage of his career. Win or lose, he earned everyone respect. But that's beside the point. As far as Manny Pacquiao stating that Errol Spence is a better fighter than Floyd Mayweather and that Errol could teach Floyd how to fight toe-to-toe, it's pretty ironic that Pacquiao will say that, since he himself doesn't fight toe-to-toe. In all reality, Pacquiao is not a toe-to-toe type of a fighter. A fighter that fights toe-to-toe is a Brandon Rios, for example, Chavez Sr., Margarito, Mike Tyson. These fighters fight toe-to-toe. And the funny thing is that Pacquiao actually shared the ring with two of the fighters that I just named that go strictly toe-to-toe, which were Margarito and Brandon Rios. Now, would you believe if I tell you, finally, when Pacquiao fought fighters that go toe-to-toe, instead of fighting toe-to-toe, he chose not to go toe-to-toe with them. He chose to go Muhammad Ali style, Floyd Mayweather style, if you want to call it that, even though we know Floyd can mix it up too. Nevertheless, when Pacquiao finally fought fighters that fought strictly and only toe-to-toe, he chose to box them instead. I kid you not. The whole night Pacquiao fought Brandon Rios, he flew like a butterfly and stinged like a bee. He was moving around, dancing around, instead of going toe-to-toe, meeting Brandon Rios head-on, Red Bull style, like two bulls going at it. Instead, Pacquiao was actually the matador, even when he fought Margarito as well. So what I'm trying to figure out or comprehend, why Manny Pacquiao continues to complain and make excuses about Floyd Mayweather not fighting him toe-to-toe, etc., etc., etc. Pacquiao just needs to learn to let it go, because he's bigger than that. Pacquiao doesn't need to be a hypocrite and contradict himself. He really doesn't, since Floyd Mayweather was right in front of him the whole night. Even when Pacquiao had Floyd Mayweather in the corner, it was Pacquiao who backed away, not Floyd Mayweather, who was stuck in the corner. We know in the sport of boxing, the worstest place you could be in is in the corner. Floyd will go to the corner to walk Pacquiao into a trap. However, Pacquiao would not take the bait, and he backed away on more than one occasion. So if Pacquiao had Floyd Mayweather in the corner and backed away, why is he complaining about Floyd Mayweather not going toe-to-toe? On top of that, it's okay for Pacquiao to box Brandon Rios and not go toe-to-toe. It's okay for Pacquiao to box whenever he wants to, but on the other hand, it's not okay for Floyd Mayweather to do the same. That's what makes it so hypocritical. It ain't like Floyd Mayweather has 4 arms and 4 legs. Absolutely not. Floyd, just like Pacquiao, has 2 arms and 2 legs. Whatever Floyd can do, Pacquiao can do the same. Whatever Floyd Mayweather did, as far as his fighting style, Pacquiao did it before and after him. However, Pacquiao want to complain about Floyd Mayweather not fighting him toe-to-toe. But I never heard Brandon Rios complain about Pacquiao not fighting him toe-to-toe. See, what Pacquiao is really saying is that Floyd Mayweather should have fought him like his feet was stuck in the mud and he had no upper body movement. Pacquiao wanted Floyd to abandon his defense and his skills, then fight him. This is really the translation of toe-to-toe by Manny Pacquiao. This is equivalence of Superman fighting the Flash, but Superman wants the Flash to abandon his speed so he could hit him. This is what Pacquiao is stating. I mean, we all know what time it is. That's the go-to excuse when you take a loss. You always hear the Canelo fans cry and complain, including Canelo, when Lara really beat Canelo and got robbed. All they had to say was that Lara was running a marathon, he's a runner, etc., etc., etc. But when Canelo was so-called running when he fought Triple G the first time, it's okay. Which that was after the Lara fight. And before the Lara fight, Canelo fought Tyner, and all he was doing was strictly sticking, moving, and boxing. However, you do not hear not even one single fan complain about Canelo moving, running, so on and so forth. We all know what time it is. It's all code words. In all reality, they don't care what the heck you do. It's simply the wrong guy won. So from the fans' point of view, the fight was boring because the guy they were cheering for was getting his butt whooped the whole night. Therefore, they had nothing to cheer for but make noises such as, ooh, every time the fighter they were rooting for was getting hit. That's when they come out with these excuses, and then the fighter runs with it and sounds so hypocritical because at the end of the day, or at least the night, the fans remain anonymous. These decafs don't have a face or a name, but the fighter that runs with these excuses does have a target on his back, because eventually he's gonna contradict himself if he fights anyway other than toe-to-toe. And when Manny Pacquiao said that Errol is a better fighter than Floyd Mayweather, then he better pray and hope that's not the case. Because if it is, the outcome for this fight, it's a foregone conclusion. If Pacquiao couldn't beat Floyd Mayweather 6 years ago when Pacquiao was still in his prime, how the heck he's going to beat Errol Spence now that he's older? And for the fans that say, if Pacquiao beats Errol Spence, then he will be better than Floyd Mayweather. No, that's not how it works. The way it works, if Pacquiao beats Errol Spence, he's better than Errol Spence. But if Pacquiao beats Floyd Mayweather, then he's better than Floyd Mayweather. but we already know what time it is. Floyd Mayweather beat Pacquiao with ease, 10 rounds to 2, when Floyd Mayweather was 2 years older than Manny Pacquiao. People said Pacquiao was old then. However, Floyd Mayweather was older. So that logic don't work. And we know that's not the case because a year after, Pacquiao beat Timothy Bradley in a trilogy in a more dominant fashion than he ever did before. 5 years later, after losing to Floyd, Pacquiao came back at 40 years old, beating an undefeated Keith Thurman in his prime. That's when people started claiming that was the prime Pacquiao back again. But Floyd Mayweather had beat Pacquiao 5 years prior to that accomplishment, and people still made excuses. Furthermore, for the people that want to make excuses and say, Floyd didn't fight Pacquiao in his prime at his peak in 2009. No, the facts are, Pacquiao didn't fight Floyd Mayweather in his prime because it was Pacquiao that turned down a 50-50 split with $50 million guaranteed, all because of Olympic-style drug testing. Even Pacquiao's own trainer, Freddie Roach, came out and admitted that it was their fault that the Floyd Mayweather fight didn't happen on time. It was Pacquiao's fault, which I'm going to leave the link for that video in the comment section below. With the facts being laid out, to all of the fans, don't hate, appreciate. Just because you hate on Floyd Mayweather for beating all of your favorite fighters, in order to downplay his accomplishments, is not going to change the fact that Floyd Mayweather is TBE. That's already submitted in stone. What's so ironic is the fans that trash Floyd Mayweather's accomplishments and try to downplay him as much as possible. They will turn around and praise the fighters that Floyd Mayweather beat with ease. You can't have it both ways, because by praising the fighters that Floyd Mayweather beat without any problem, you indirectly praising Floyd Mayweather. Hate it or love it. The facts are, Floyd Mayweather as a grandpa, at 36 and 37 years old, he beat both Canelo Alvarez in his prime and Manny Pacquiao with ease. So after Floyd Mayweather beat both Canelo and Pacquiao, whatever they accomplish after that, it makes Floyd Mayweather greater. So when Pacquiao beats an undefeated Keith Thurman, and let's say perhaps he beats Errol Spence, that will automatically make Floyd Mayweather even greater and his win over Pacquiao look even better, since he already beat Pacquiao 6 years prior to that when Pacquiao was more in his prime. The same thing applies to Canelo Alvarez. Whatever Canelo accomplishes today, it makes Floyd Mayweather greater and his win even more impressive, since Canelo Alvarez was Floyd Mayweather's easiest fight of his career, even though Canelo had every single advantage over Floyd Mayweather. So by the fans praising Canelo, they indirectly praising Floyd Mayweather's greatness. Hate it or love it. So don't hate Floyd Mayweather for beating your favorite fighters. Appreciate Floyd Mayweather for making your favorite fighters look like nobodies. Because if Floyd Mayweather fought nobody, then your favorite fighters, Pacquiao and Canelo, are nobodies. And last but not least, for the people that push the narrative that Floyd Mayweather fights for money, Pacquiao fights for legacy. First of all, that's not true, because Floyd Mayweather fought 23 world champions, more champions than anybody in history, including Manny Pacquiao, who has more fights than Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather fought at the highest level in the sport of boxing until he was 38 years old. At 36 and 37 years old, Floyd fought Canelo and Pacquiao. But as soon as Floyd Mayweather retires from the sport of boxing and does exhibitions, making hundreds of millions of dollars in the process, all of a sudden he's bad for the sport. But when Chavez Sr., Oscar De La Hoya do exhibitions, fighting Shaq, so on and so forth, it's okay. They not bad for the sport. I'm telling you, the double standards in the sport of boxing are unreal. you have people on one end, they try to compare Pacquiao and Floyd and say, well, Pacquiao is not doing exhibitions. Pacquiao is fighting Errol Spence. Floyd Mayweather fighting Conor McGregor and Logan Paul. Well, first of all, do you guys know Manny Pacquiao was going to fight Conor McGregor instead of Errol Spence? In fact, it was a done deal. However, sadly for Pacquiao, Conor McGregor got knocked out in the rematch by Dustin Poirier. So, Manny Pacquiao had to find a plan B. For the people that don't know, Manny Pacquiao actually signed with Conor McGregor management team in order to make that fight. However, Manny Pacquiao plans got derailed since Conor McGregor got knocked out. But the point here is nobody criticized Manny Pacquiao for potentially fighting Conor McGregor. In fact, it was the other way around. The fans and old media welcomed it with open arms. See, the reality is, Manny Pacquiao have been copying the Floyd Mayweather green print for a very long time now. Floyd fights Oscar De La Hoya, then you see Pacquiao fighting Oscar De La Hoya. Floyd fights Ricky Hatton, then you see Pacquiao fighting Ricky Hatton. Floyd fights Sugar Shane Mosley, then you see Pacquiao fighting Sugar Shane Mosley. Right after Floyd Mayweather beats him, literally, you see Floyd Mayweather fights Conor McGregor. Now today, we saw Pacquiao attempt and try his best to fight Conor McGregor. However, Floyd Mayweather get criticized while Manny Pacquiao gets praised. Furthermore, for the people that say, Manny Pacquiao is fighting Errol Spence though at 42 years old. Who is Floyd Mayweather fighting at 42 years old? Well, first of all, Floyd is a retired fighter. Pacquiao is still active. Second of all, Pacquiao is taking the Roberto Duran route. Since Roberto Duran lost his most significant fights to the Fabulous Four of his time, in order to make it up, Duran ended up fighting everybody till the end of his career, which is exactly what ended up happening to Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao actually lost the most significant fight of his career, the fight of the decade. He lost that fight with ease to Floyd Mayweather. He also lost not the trilogy, the quadrilogy to Marquez by KO. So he feels he has to make it up by fighting the best till the end of his career by facing the likes of Keith Thurman and Errol Spence. On the other hand, Floyd Mayweather, he won every single meaningful fight from the start of his career until the end of his career. In all reality, who you guys should be comparing Pacquiao to is Canelo Alvarez, since Canelo lost the most significant fight of his career to Floyd Mayweather. He lost his Sonny Liston fight, his coming out party. Canelo is famously known for getting his cherry popped by Floyd. And instead of making it up by fighting the Fabulous Four of his time, the Charlo twins, Andrade, even Benavidez, instead he's ducking them till this day, fighting the likes of Avni Yildirim instead. While Manny Pacquiao at 42, fighting Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. Therefore, that's who old media and the fans need to be comparing Pacquiao to. It's Canelo Alvarez, the cherry-picking king, the European assassin himself, instead of Floyd Mayweather, who already beat them both. So, with the facts being laid out, if you disagree with any of the facts I mentioned, then specifically point out what I said you disagree with. Point out the timestamp. If you don't, and talk crap instead, then you admitting that everything I said is the whole absolute truth. But the reality is burning your emotional soul. With that being stated, drop your thoughts in the comment section below, subscribe below, and click on the notification bell to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace, and I'm on to the next one.